And God is not breaking you because he's angry with you or you've done something wrong. He's just slowing you down. And when he slows you down, he's getting in front of you. There's a blessing in slowing down. He said, let it be. Let it be that when you hear the sound of a going in the mulberry trees, that you stir yourself. Then shall the Lord go out before you. And I'm finished. Music can come. And this is it. This is the whole story. This is the wrap. This is the whole thing. God says, I need you to get a compass, go around here, stand by the mulberry trees. When you hear the wind blowing in the mulberry trees, then you can go out and get them. But the whole crux of the entire deal is in this verse when God says, then thou shalt bestir thyself, for then shall the Lord go out before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. God said, I'm breaking you so that I can get in front of you. I'm going before you on this one. I let you go up that last time. But this time, let me out first. And God is not breaking you because he's angry with you or you've done something wrong. He's just slowing you down. And when he slows you down, he's getting in front of you. There's a blessing in slowing down. Look at your neighbor, tell your neighbor, there's a blessing in the breaking. B-R-A-K-I-N-G. Oh yeah, there's a blessing in the breaking. There's a blessing in this kind of breaking, but there's also a blessing in this kind of breaking. I found it out. I found out what the blessing was when I drove with my friend who's got a Tesla. His name is Julian Tabaris. He's a very fantastic musician. And I was riding with Julian, and we were going to church on Sunday morning. This has been just a few months ago. And we were getting to the church, and he told me, he said, yeah, man, as soon as church is over, I'm not going to be able to go out to eat with you. I got to run. I got to get to the airport. We're flying to Sydney, Australia tonight. And as he's talking, I'm a super observant person. And I just said, how far is the airport from here? And he said, oh, it's just like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I said, because your car says you got like less than 10% battery. And it shows me the miles on your car. And he said, oh, no, it'll be fine. He said, because it'll stay at 10% for a really long time. He said, I'm gonna get more than that out of it. And I said, what are you talking about, man? It's a battery. It's telling you right there. He said, no. He said, because when I brake, it charges the battery. I said, hold up, time out. What are you talking about? He said, no. He said, on the Tesla, because it's battery powered, as you brake, it creates energy, and the car reverts that energy back into the battery. And so every time you brake, it puts a little energy back in the battery. And so this right here will get me to the airport and probably get me home when I fly back from Australia. And I said, I am going to preach the fire out of that. Because as soon as he said, when I brake, it puts energy back in me, immediately I thought, though he lay me down in green pastures, he restoreth my soul. He maketh me. I didn't want to, but he made me. It wasn't on my agenda, but he made me lie down in the green pastures. And as I was breaking, I was restoring. Can I preach to somebody in my closing argument today that if you break, he'll restore you? Let me preach it another way. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew. Oh, I wish I could. They that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. It's coming back to you. I know you're breaking, saint of God, but that energy is coming back to you. I know you're breaking, sir. You're breaking, ma'am, but there is a restoring that's happening because he's the Lord of the breaks, and he'll break my enemy, but he'll break me too. Would you stand all over the room? I got a word for somebody in this house. It ain't for nothing. Oh, yes, Lord. Thank God for it. It ain't for nothing. You may feel like you're standing still right now. You may feel like you are weak, tired, about to give up. But God sent me today with a word to tell you that he's the Lord of the breaks. And them breaks he put on you are to restore you. And you can get ahead of him if you want to. But if you do, you'll be out of season. You'll be out of season. He said, if you'll just stop for a minute, I'll get in front of you. I'll get in front of you and I'll do what you can't do. If you'll let me break you, I'll get in front of you. And I'll heal your family before you can even open your mouth. If you let me break you, I'll get in front of you. And when you show back up to that situation, it'll already be fixed. And you didn't lift a finger to do it. If you let me break you in this season, if you let me break you, when you get to where you thought you were going, they'll already be dead. They'll already be asleep, drunk. David knows about the Lord going before him, because when David came to Ziklag and it was sacked, he could have fought. Matter of fact, his army was already ready to fight. But what did David do? He said to the priest, bring me the ephod. And he got the ephod, and his men were so angry with him, they wanted to stone him. But David got himself an ephod, and he said, Lord, what do you want me to do? And the Lord said, I'm so glad you asked. I want you to go get him. And thou shalt without fail recover all. And David leaves with his men. He stops. He leaves some at the brook. They go forward. They find a slave from the Amalekites, and he says, hey, give this man some bread and some raisins and feed him. And they're like, our kids, our wife, we gotta go. No. Because I know I'm in the will of God, and when you're in the will of God, you take time to help people. And they fed him some bread and some raisins, and the Bible says, this is beautiful, that the life came back to him. And when he came back, he said, I got sick and my master left me. He obviously didn't have no kind of loyalty to me, so I have no loyalty to him. Do you want to know how many they are? Do you want to know where they're going? Can I give you the information? No interrogation. They interrogated him with bread and raisins. Didn't you have to waterboard that man? He just fed him. He said, I'll tell you everything I got. Because you don't know who has the information that you're caring for. Whew. You don't know the person that you're feeding could have all the information you need. The person that you're blessing could have everything you have. And when you're in God's will and you're willing to break at the river to leave them, we're going to go get them. Break by the wayside to help someone who cannot help me back. Break, because David understands that he's the Lord of the breaks. Sometimes the Lord will just break you, and you got to stop and help somebody and take care of some things, and you want to run and you want to go. And by the time David finally reaches the Amalekites, they've had a party, they're drunk, and they're all asleep. And David and his men move into the camp, kill them all. And this is beautiful. They lose nothing, because there's not a war. If you have a war, you have innocent people that die in the war. There may be some daughters or some sons, some wives, some belongings that may have been lost. But because these men were all asleep and drunk, David and his men went in at the right time, at the right season, because while he was breaking, God was working. God had already went before him. Because when you break, God gets before you. And when you break, you are restored. Because when I'm broken, he's strong. When I am weak, Who am I preaching to this morning? I'm finished. I wonder if you just bow your head with me for a moment.